Hidden high in the Andes, the ancient city of Machu Picchu is one of the world's most iconic destinations. But while most travelers aim for the sunny, dry season, there is a whole different kind of magic that comes alive during the rainy months. From mystical fog that drapes over the ruins to lush, vibrant greenery, Machu Picchu transforms into a living, breathtaking masterpiece. But is it really worth visiting Machu Picchu during rainy season? We'll answer that in today's video. Hello everyone and welcome to today's video. So welcome to Machu Picchu, one of the 7 wonders of the world that is located here in Peru. I'm going to show you the whole area of the ancient Inca Empire, but before I get started with that, let me quickly explain you how I actually got here. There are various ways to get to Machu Picchu. You could even hike there, but be careful during rainy season. The trails will be closed due to the high risk of landslides. My journey started at the Huachang station in Cusco. I took a bus to the town Ollantaytambo, in which I jumped on a train. The train is the most expensive option to get to Machu Picchu, but you will be able to enjoy panoramic views over insanely beautiful landscapes. You will then reach Aguas Calientes, which is known as the Machu Picchu village. Here I spent one night because I wanted to be at the entrance of Machu Picchu first hour in the morning. So this morning at 6 a.m. I took a bus up to the Machu Picchu entrance. I am currently walking along the terraces. This is the agricultural sector of Machu Picchu. Here in this area they have planted a lot of crops. For example, they have planted corn, quinoa, yucca, lots of fruits, a lot of different types of potatoes, and so on. And this area was basically the part where people worked, where they ensured the food supply of the city of Machu Picchu. And there have also been a lot of storages here. There are some houses here in this area, and these houses have been used as storage rooms. That storage room that you can see here behind me has actually been reconstructed. Obviously, the rooftop has not been preserved as it is today, so they reconstructed it a little bit so that we can now see how exactly it used to look like. I am currently at the most Instagrammable spot of this whole place. Here on this terrace you are meant to get the best views over Machu Picchu. Unfortunately today the view is not really clear. But that happens, right? I mean, the weather in the mountains is unpredictable and currently the whole city is covered in clouds actually. By the way, it is highly recommended to book your tickets for Machu Picchu as early as possible. I actually booked mine like 2 weeks ago, more or less, which is quite spontaneously actually, but there were still a lot of spots open in the early morning hours. I booked my first spot in between 6 and 7 a.m., meaning I was able to enter Machu Picchu between 6 and 7 a.m. They are supposedly very strict with that, so if you book a slot, make sure that you will actually be able to be there at the entry at this specific hour. And I booked it that early in the morning because all the other hours in the afternoon were already fully booked. And also there are different routes that you can take here, different treks that you can take through the city, and the trek number 1 and 2 are those that are recommended. That's also the one that I am doing right now. That is the one where you can see the whole city of Machu Picchu. Now there are a few other spots here that you can visit. For example, there's a bridge, there are viewpoints and mountains, but those are quickly fully booked, meaning you would have to book that actually very early in advance. That is simply because the entries for those places are even more restricted than the entry for Machu Picchu in general. Now here behind me you can see the city center of Machu Picchu. This is where people used to live and study, for example. Before we've been to the agricultural sector, and now walking down there we will see the original housing of the people of Machu Picchu. By the way, Machu Picchu stands for Montaña Vieja, or in English, Old Mountain. It is the most famous symbol of the Inca Empire, although the capital of the Inca Empire has been Cusco. More or less 70% of Machu Picchu has its original structure. Obviously, here and there they had to do a few restorations, but they kept it mostly the way they have found it. And here in the city center of Machu Picchu we can actually see how they built their buildings, how they lived. And you can also see the walls that they've built that we've already seen in other places if you've seen my video of Cusco. And these walls are apparently super strong. They survived more than 400 years now, which is insane. Machu Picchu has actually never been discovered by the Spanish. When they conquered this area of Peru, they never found and never entered Machu Picchu. But Machu Picchu has been abandoned by its people in the 15th century because they actually heard about the arrival of the Spanish. They heard about what the Spanish were doing to their own people, their brothers and sisters. They heard all of the stories of the killings of the indigenous people in other regions such as Cusco. So they decided to actually leave and abandon the city before the Spanish were able to find it. And they started to hide in the surrounding mountains, in the jungle that is here in this area, to not get caught by the Spanish. But anyway, the Spanish never found this place. It actually has been discovered in 1911 by a US American citizen, meaning it has been abandoned for more than 400 years, which is insane. Abandoned and completely untouched. And the US American citizen found this place kind of accidentally because he has heard about ruins in this area from Quechua people that have told him about ruins in this area. He was exploring the area here around Cusco, and when he found this place, obviously it looked completely different. There were a lot of trees and so on, a lot of nature here in this place, but he found the ruins, and they decided to take care of this place, to explore it a little bit more, to figure out what it is and what it used to be. And well, they took care of this area, and nowadays it is actually open for tourism, and tourists can visit it all year around. Here in the Inca Empire, there actually didn't exist anything such as money. The people built a very strong community, meaning they were exchanging services and things. For that, it was obviously very necessary to constantly communicate. People knew each other, and it was a very different way of community than the one that we have today. Here in the city center, people also learned their handicrafts. For example, some people learned how to build houses, some people learned agriculture, and everybody specified in some kind of field. Another thing that didn't exist during the Inca Empire were handwritten stories. So Incas didn't write down their history. That means that a lot of knowledge actually got lost. Obviously, the Spanish wrote down things when they came here, and also there are a lot of paintings that kind of showed the Inca culture, but obviously that is the Spanish version of the story. And of course, there are always two sides of the story, and well, the Incan part basically got lost while the Spanish are telling the story in their own favor. One thing that obviously cannot miss in the video of Machu Picchu are the llamas of Machu Picchu. How cute is that? I suppose they live here. I just survived a herd of llamas. Actually, they are super cute, but something actually scared them, I guess. There were about 5 or 6 llamas running towards me, and the paths are really small. There wasn't that much space for me to get out of the way. Just remember that these animals are super cute, but they are still wild animals that can get scared, so be a little bit careful here. As you've probably already noticed, most of the houses don't have roofs. That is simply because over time the roofs have got destroyed. But there are a few houses that have been a little bit reconstructed so that we can see what they used to be like in their original state. And you can even have a look inside of these houses. They weren't big, there was not that many space, and obviously they were completely empty, but it was interesting to see how the Inca used to live here in Machu Picchu. It is actually time to tell you what I actually think about Machu Picchu during the rainy season. Is it actually worth it to come here or not? Honestly, I was having my doubts, especially at the beginning when I was up there in the mountains and I didn't get a beautiful view at all because it was super cloudy. And honestly, I think if you are just interested in that Instagram spot to get your photo taken there, it may not be worth it because you may get disappointed. The chances are rather high to get disappointed with the climate. But if you're interested in seeing a spectacular place that is quite unique on Earth, actually there are just a few places that are completely untouched by Europeans, especially here in Latin America. If you've seen my video about Cusco before, we've seen a temple already, an Incan temple, but I told you that it has been kind of destroyed by the Spanish because they used the stones for their own buildings. And also in the city of Cusco you see a lot of Incan walls with colonial buildings on top of them. So the Spanish destroyed a lot. And here to Machu Picchu, the Spanish didn't get to this place, they didn't find it, meaning it is in its original state. And that is also what makes Machu Picchu so special, because it has not been destroyed at all. It has been a little bit reconstructed, of course, but only 30%, so that is a very low percentage actually. So you can find a very historical, ancient place here in Peru that is basically untouched by any European conquerors. And that is something that is extremely rare. So if you're interested in seeing something like that, yes, it is definitely worth it to come here, no matter the climate, because you will still see the impressive walls of the Incan architecture, you will see the houses, you will get a feeling of being here, and I mean, the views actually are not that bad, right? The clouds are moving quickly, so at some parts you will definitely get amazing views. And also this place is in the middle of the mountains, in the middle of nowhere. Basically it is a very peaceful place. You almost hear nothing else but nature or people who are actually taking care of the grass here, what you can hear in the background a little bit. But anyway, this is a very natural place, a very epic place, beautiful. Anyway, even during rainy season, so yes, I do recommend you to come here. Now I really hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed the little tour through Machu Picchu. I hope you learned a few things and also are now a little bit smarter and know how to get to this place. If you enjoyed it and if you found it helpful, make sure to drop me a thumbs up and also make sure to subscribe to my channel, because I am still not done in Peru. I'm going to upload further videos of my journey through the country of Peru, and I will see you in the next one.